Um, this- Hi, Barbara. Hey, Sandy, how are you? I'm good, girl. How are you? Good, good. And I'm learning this process. Hmm? Because I'm learning this process. Oh, are you? Talking about today. I hope noise. HOA and trailer deeds and. Noise.
No.
How are you?
Good. Oh, where we want to say.
Lonely rider.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's cool. You see that over there? They said over there, please. You want to come in? You didn't think I'd be listening.
All right.
Testing.
Fell off the earth.
They never make it different.
Well, they never.
That's so well. Yeah, I don't really get that. So you're gonna hand that to the board secretary, or you can put it up there. Or like, you know, you can get it on the card, and I realized I did wrong. Wow.
Right, shit, right here.
Yeah. Can I sit next to you? Yeah.
Oh, that side.
Outside?
Are you in charge of seating? Yes, I am. All right. Somebody needs to be. I agree.
Sit
You got-
down,
got
sit
anybody else?
down, sit down. That's what I tell my dog, sit. Don't write me up for slapping your butt though.
Uh-oh.
No, go ahead, I wanna go forward and sit. Yeah. Oh my,
Oh, well, you don't have to have a reason. You can just.
I've been trying to do that. But apparently.
Yeah. I just wanna let you know it's okay. I can sing that.
I did say hi to you.
Yeah, you were talking.
I slapped Victor, he was right. Yeah, I did. No, I was.
Sure, I with a hat. If you lower.
I gotta be lower, yeah,
Gets to Harry's age, you gives you a pat on the butt.
yeah.
I did. No, I like it. Of course, we've had things going for years. I'm aware
I know, you still haven't bought me jewelry.
Well, I'm trying to.
Jewelry.
I'm on a budget now. I gotta pay for bathroom out here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We all do.
It's just me.
Oh, no. It just seems like you're paying for all of it. Good for you.
What's happening here? Let's see. Nothing. No. I care about. Yeah. You're right.
Is that better?
Much better. So I'm in the pad though.
I know. It.
Oh, that's us.
Yeah. That's looking at us from there. Everyone knows we're here.
Everybody knows your name here.
Everyone knows we're here. Here we be.
I saw your picture this
He
morning
already knows I'm speaking.
From last
on
night.
Facebook.
But I should probably. know.
You,
He's seen his sons.
yeah, you're on Facebook. Yeah.
You and Judy last night.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, I just remember somebody coming taking a picture. I don't know.
I'm still cough, but they treat it, they don't have any idea why. You
Meanest.
mean that, that should be it. And now for the one part of your phone. Yeah. Yes. And I would have wanted to. I know. All right. Well, no. Very. So I write down.
You're not bleeding now.
Mine. Oh, I see. Remember that? And I never.
$80.
So this. Yeah. So awesome. Question.
Doing that.
You have any description? When you do.
Oh, yeah.
No. Yeah.
Well, I know how to cook this.
Well, I can see that.
I mean, How you doing, honey? I'm okay. The secretary here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he orders some cards for it.
Yeah.
We have not.
Pretty good.
Without permission, you just need to sign up for the, Paul, I've got another walker. You know Drew Wardell? Who? Drew Wardell?
Yeah, true.
He wants to permission to get his things signed up. Yeah, and he already has a truck, so I don't believe there's any need. Hey, in addition, so what I will do, we can reach out to him and let him know that yes, he can do that.
How are you?
You know what? He definitely is. Perfect. That'd be great.
That's what I was trying to.
That'd be great. Thank you. Do you have any?
And I really like this. I mean, I've played with answers since I was 13 years old. And but this is just better.
I guess it works.
Hey, do you behave yourself tonight?
Susan won't be on Zoom, right? No, she won't be, Jim, right? Susan won't be on Zoom. No.
No, yeah, we don't want them on Zoom, they're in the midst of this anniversary. Might be best we don't have it on Zoom. A blissful anniversary. Okay, and Eddie is going to speak on this, correct? Eddie's here.
Eddie's here, yeah. Eddie's here.
Okay, right. Okay, so this is Eddie's. Do we? I don't know. I'll have to check with. Did we get our budget completed for the 50th? For the opening weekend. Yeah, Judy Fondell wants to know if we have.
Oh my God.
If she has questions about 50th weekend and the budget. So. Say that we're gonna make it 75,000. I don't know. Eric, question, do we have any information on the budget for the 50th yet? On the monies and everything? No. Oh, right.
No, this is.
I have questions about the opening weekend and the budget. So I don't know if it's the budget for the opening weekend or if it's the budget. Okay. Do you want to speak on that when you have? What I'll do is I'll just refer it over to you. The question. Dave?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
What do you want me to- I mean,
Okay.
I'm saying we're working on the budget. I mean, we had with. And then I got the same. I got the same. squeaky wheel about- Chester, do we have anything on the theme committee about?
Like every.
Have we have anything more on this, or can you include that with your report? What we're looking and doing on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a comment.
Awesome. Okay.
Just talk to.
Okay. Yeah,
This is about 4 times.
I know. Well, I think 6, but that's.
Yeah, okay. Who's counting? Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Communication.
I just got, we were downstairs.
So under the new business, let's reflect.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
Or no, we have that meeting.
What's going on?
I am. I sometimes say that I'm gonna do something, and then I'm like, no, I have to be here for it, so
Okay,
I don't wanna be, but I have to, so. it's all right.
there he is. Sorry, I had a stack of stuff I was going through, Bill. You there? Bill, can you hear?
Just sign me up for 8 o'clock.
Can you hear?
You can go down there. We're in the wrong group though. I got all kinds of really good Mission Lake shirts.
This is where
I can get you a really good.
This is where I
Can you hear, Bill?
Hey, Jim?
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
by myself.
How about you, Sam?
Myself.
I'm here.
See you, but I hear you.
We can't hear you. I think,
I'm here, but I'm waiting for video to come up.
oh,
Yeah.
hang on.
I'm here on my side.
If Larry doesn't show up, you want to do the coffee report?
I don't get Sam on video.
That's okay. I can hear everyone.
Well, the good thing is you can sit there with no pants.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. All right. The, has all the, everybody good to go? Bill, are you good to go? You hear okay? Bill?
Yes,
Well, okay, you're good to go.
yes.
Okay, so we're good to go. Everybody here good to go? Okay. Susan's not here. Okay, and I need. Eric, give the next agenda. Oh, no, that's good. I can just work out there. I can work out this. Susan, you know, it's her anniversary. That's her anniversary. Oh, thank you, sir. Okay. Okay, I'll pick that up. Thank you, sir. Okay. And before we do the minutes. Gonna call the meeting to order.
Sam.
Yeah, Sam is in. We have two board members zooming, one is not present. It's Susan's anniversary, so she will not be here. And yeah, there you go. All right, let's see. Oh, well, Barb, why don't you lead us in the pledge? You got it. One of the first things I'd like to do before we do the minutes, we have a special person who's spent quite a bit of time over the years producing the e-news. And I feel that it's important for us to recognize the amount of work that she's done over the years. And it'd be nice if she'd like to continue. I don't know if we can twist her arm, but that would be Teresa Murphy. And I would like a round of applause. So Teresa, if you feel so inclined, we're willing to welcome you back. Anyways, moving along. Let's go ahead and we'll approve the board meeting minutes for last month and prior month as well.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the open board minutes from September 24th, 2022, October 13th, 2022, October 24th, 2022, which was a joint session between the Board of Directors and the Greens Committee. And then executive session minutes, the correct ones we carried over from last month from August 27th, 2022. There may be on your copy of the minutes, it may say August 7th, that was supposed to be August 27th. I don't make a whole lot of errors, but when I do, I tend to make errors related to that one thing over and over and over and over again, and I did there as well. And also executive minutes from September 24th, 2022, October 13th, 2022, October 25th, 2022, and October 27th, 2022.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, they're approved. Let's move on to members' comments. I guess, let's see. I have a Sue Ketchum with communication.
Thank you. After leaving last night's event, which was really fun, I've really been thinking about what to say. And I'm kind of tempering my comments. But one of the things I've noticed, and we found out last month, that the committee that was doing the 50th didn't involve a lot of people. It was really restrictive. And we found out that the event that happened last night, there was a lot of miscommunication with that, and wasn't very. It was fun for those of us who are here, a lot of fun, but it was disappointing because there's probably half a room there and it wasn't publicized, it wasn't published. And unfortunately, it was a missed opportunity, could have been a whole lot better. But what I've been encouraged about, and I give this to Wendy Scott, I mean, on the member communications, we've been trying to do a lot of things, and you might have noticed, for the luau, we got people involved, had them dress up, made it kind of fun. For the Oktoberfest, we had some members in lederhosen to try to make it different and not have these same flyers that go out all the time. The Halloween event was never published as a party. It was just a dinner. In fact, at the House Committee, Heidi Arsenault asked, why is it only 5:30 to 8 o'clock on a Friday? So only people people who work, they might get home at 6, might be able to go. And then it got changed. The House Committee made a change, which was awesome because it then became a party rather than a dinner. And also this flyer, I don't know about you guys, but who can read it? I mean, there's a lot of light writing here. This is a beautiful piece, but I know when it first came out, I said, can you change the font to black so we can read it? So back to where I'm encouraged. Wendy and Mari have been talking since these committees were introduced, this new board. And Wendy suggested like a task force. And so that's something that I'm very encouraged going forward, that we have the House Committee, we have the Pool and Rec, we have F&B, and we have member communications to make it a more viable and make it so the members are aware of what's going on. And kind of, eliminate things like this, which was a really disaster. I'm sorry, it was.
All right, Jody Fondell.
Proud. I just have a couple of questions about the opening weekend and the costs associated with the activities. This is prompted by the call for more sponsors that came out through the e-news. My first question relates to the budget for opening weekend, especially as it relates to the Saturday events. Can you tell us how many units you had needed to sell in order to reach a break-even point on that event with the budget? And as of today, how close we might be to that number. I know there's another week and people are terrible about signing up, but I was just kind of curious about that. And then secondly, as it relates to the call for more sponsors, I was curious if this event was released to the membership because we have a genuine need for more sponsors in order to meet our budget, or is it simply information that was given out to the membership to let them know that this is an opportunity for them to further support the club should they so choose? Clearly, if we're don't meet budget, all of us become unwitting sponsors. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't have hard numbers in front of me right now, but we're actually in really good shape. I think, right now between the golf event and the pre-signups for the concert night, we've probably bumping up against 250. And I would assume on concert night, when we're having announcements, cocktails, dinner, and that music event, I would be happy to be somewhere between 350 and 400. It looks like we're going to have a net return to the club. So I don't want that to stifle any sponsorship if anybody would be considering trying to help out some, because we'd love to be able to limit the amount of money that the club had earmarked. Last year's budget earmarked $5,000 for the 50th anniversary committee. And then it sounded like there was possibly a little bit of spillover money when we combine the two between the 50th anniversary and the opener party, which are kind of combined now. So they're kind of propping each other up, I would say, a little bit. I think we're in good shape. The band itself is about a $5,500 cost. We locked that band up in, I think, June or July. And I'm just going to take this opportunity to get a little background out there. You know, we've been criticized heavily for the procedure involved in this. And, you know, some of that is deserving, but none of it was intentional to bypass any of these committees. And that's the part that kind of hurts, because we feel like maybe there's some people we would love to see at this event that are upset enough with possibly something I did or one of the other committee or the committee in general did, and they won't participate. And that's sad. This is all of our 50th anniversary. We're going to honor this club the best we can that night. So I just hope everybody kind of buries the hatchet. And you can bury it here but just bury it and come to the event. I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. And that's all we ever tried to do. We just wanted to honor this club and try and make it as fun as we could to get together. As far as how this committee started, it was kind of an organic movement. I think I'm accurate when I say that. I had brought up the fact that this was going to be our 50th, and there's controversy whether it's last year, this year, and most people say it's next year, but we had to grab a date. And when I ran for the board last year, in my presentation, I got it out there that I think as a membership, we were completely asleep at the wheel. I'd like to think that's what it was, and not just complacent about the fact that we had a 50 years anniversary this year to honor this club. Most clubs probably would have started 2 years ago fundraising for this event, and we didn't have that opportunity. So when I had people approach me after that, and it was kind of an organic start, and then their friends came in, and pretty soon it swelled to the point where we had, 20 some people involved. And we thought, you know, and it's pretty late in the game, and we thought, now if we announce it, how big of a group could we physically have to pull this event off, input wise? And so at that point in time, we thought, we don't want to get to the point where you would apply and then we say, oh, we're going to limit it to the first 30 or 50 or 70 or 150 or whatever. So, you know, that's on myself and a couple of the other committee members feeling like the group had grown to that size. After that, things moved really fast, and they had to move fast. I locked this band up in June or July, got the money down to them. All the money spent so far has been personal money from sponsors. I don't believe the club has put a dollar out toward locking up the staging, the bands, it's been sponsor movement. So I don't know if that answers any questions, and I'm not about to defend that everything was done personally, and I would like to take responsibility for some of the mistakes. But I just hope we can all come together as a group, support this event, enjoy each other, and get to talk about our loved ones that aren't going to be with us this year, along with how we think about the Memorial Tournament next weekend. But as far as the funding, it looks strong. I hope that doesn't stifle any last minute sponsorship, but it looks like we're going to be able to give back to the club, plus keep these fees down to what we think is a pretty good amount. Is that fair, Eric?
That's totally fair. Yeah.
Okay.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Okay, I have Sandy Schofield, who's asking about the enclosure for the pump station. Actually, Chester will be speaking on that when he comes and does the Greens report. So instead of doing it twice, let's just do it the one single time. And that'll answer pretty much your questions on what you had. So moving along, let's do the general manager's report.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm going to give a little overview of the month end of September. Total income for the month was $599,000 versus a budgeted amount of $555,000. So we were to the positive $44,000. Total expenses for the month, we were $653,000 versus the budget amount of $719,000. So we were better than budget by $66,000. Overall net profit for the month was better than budget by $110,000. We had budgeted for a loss of $164,000 this month. This is a big month for us because it's sort of our seed month for the golf course, which is around $214,000. So far for the year, we have a net profit of $168,000. Just to give a quick overview of the departments at the end of September, food and beverage was better than budget by $28,000 with the food minimums due. Golf shop was a positive to the budget by $1,000. Golf maintenance expenses were better than budget by $82,000. G&A expenses were better than budget by $5,000. Clubhouse expenses were over budget by $4,000. The inn was better than budget by $5,000. Pool and rec was better than budget by $900. At the end of September, the balance in the reserves, we're at $2,422,425. Total owed on the loan is $383,550, which is included in this balance. Total reserves spent for the month of September was $51,967. So next on my agenda, we're going to talk about the budget process. We hopefully are on the final stages of the budget process, or at least the draft. We'll be meeting on November 3rd with the finance committee to discuss that, and then hopefully we have a rough draft to the board after that meeting. Food and beverage. Continue our Monday Night Football throughout the season. Bar opens on Monday, daily until 5 p.m. Friday night starts our 50th anniversary weekend festivities. But after you're going through the week, the dining room will open Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, and all 3 nights have new menus for this season. And hopefully, as we get going here, we are working on changing it quarterly. So new menus starting off the new season. ADA bathroom update. Texture and stucco are being finalized today. Tiles 100% done inside. Drywall, painting, all the restroom fixtures, and AC will be installed next week. I think we're sort of on the last part of this, but still got to work on that parking lot. So we'll be meeting with the board here soon on that. The overseeding process. Raphael is very happy how this year's overseeding process has gone. He's had to deal with a couple issues of the ABU coming through after the first initial seeding part of this. And we did have some heavy rains that he had to work on a couple of days of cleanup. But overall, it seemed like his staff and Raphael are positive how things are looking. Still working on some of the trouble areas out there that I guess we deal with every year, but for the most part, he's happy this year. Next on my agenda is comment cards. So I had numerous comments on 9:30, we had to cancel a yoga class. And I don't know if I want to go through all of them, but I gotta tell you, I gotta tell the membership, we apologize for all the, basically, we had an event Thursday night. Wasn't cleaned up Thursday night and it was left on Friday. So at the 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock classes were canceled in there, and absolutely not a good look. And it should have never happened, but I guess at 8 o'clock, we should have been notified that these tables were in there. We would have had a crew go in there and clean them up, but all in all, I apologize to the membership. That shouldn't happen, but I'll give you a few. Just, I was disappointed to see our yoga class canceled. The class space was full of tables and chairs. Please honor to the class and make sure this is a neat and clean place. Hopefully yoga classes will resume. And that was a different one. I'm very disappointed that the gym was full of tables and chairs. There's about 9 of them. So, I mean, if you'd like to hear them all, I'd love to give them to you, but basically the same thing. And I gotta tell you, from management part of it, not happy about it either. So hopefully we'll never see that again. A new one here, hopefully yoga classes will resume in the morning. They've been very fun and a great event. Why are all the notices printed with color ink? Couldn't we use colored paper with black ink? Color is very expensive. Please keep yoga class going. Today's yoga class was so well done. Live music was an added gift. Very like the experience at a top spa. Please continue and add to the calendar. Yoga has been so welcomed. Please continue these wonderful classes. Art and Ellen are both excellent. Next one is I love yoga classes. I would like to see the styrofoam cups replaced with cardboard cups. They are good for the environment and less cost for the club. So I do want to piggyback on that, because one of the things we are going to try to do is weed people off our styrofoam cups. You know, as the season goes on, we'll probably won't have them out on the golf course, but we will have them in the pro shop to pick up. But to try to weed people off their cups, bring your own cups. I mean, water machines will still be out there, but we'll see how that goes. But this year we're going to try to weed people off your cups. So, and Mr. President, that is my report today.
Thank you. Okay, coming up to the committees, ACC, basically, they've just been doing their job, running around, you know, basically going through the normal motions. Things as far as the palm trees go and things like that, looks like most everybody has done their job on that. They're beginning to look now at weeds, because it's becoming that time of year where we have winds, and then we will have some spot rain showers here and there. So that will be probably what they're going to start looking for next. Other than that, that's pretty much it on ACC. Condo Association. Do we have anybody to represent the Condo Association? I do know that we did speak with on that substation.
Talked about that.
Yeah, do you want to discuss?
So I did talk with the manager from the condos, Mike Livingston, and working with Dave Schilling, their president down there. They have put in their office, where they had an office down there, they're trying to turn it into a substation. So they put new table desks and chairs, microwaves, refrigerator to prep it. So they're hoping to get the sheriff's department and CHP to sort of use that office there as a substation. So they are pushing that along.
Is that then now being pursued directly by the condo board instead of Mission Lakes?
Does that mean that they'll be on our streets more, maybe watching
Hopefully.
people fly up and down?
That's what the idea is. More presence is always a good thing. So especially there, because you see that when you drive in to our development. So it's very visible.
Coming out of there, down that street, kill us every morning.
Definitely. Okay, let's do Bill with the finance and credit.
Good afternoon, and thanks, Jim. I'd like to say, hopefully this is my last Zoom meeting and I will be on site for the rest of my term. So that is going to be really, really nice for me. And anybody else who tries to Zoom in and conduct a meeting or chair a meeting. So with that, I would like to move to approve checks over 1,000 from operations and reserve accounts for September of 2022.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passes.
Excellent. I'd like to move to approve the finance and credit reports for September 2022.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Okay, we have 3 RFCA requests. They are in and have been assigned a letter because the RFCA isn't actual number isn't issued until they are passed. So we are going to go with RFCA 2022-A, which is a request from our facilities manager for the purchase of an ice machine in the amount of $5,319. There was 3 vendors quoted. The vendor chosen is Aero Restaurant Equipment.
Was that a motion, Bill?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
Just to elaborate, that's the one in the car park.
Correct.
Yeah, the one in the car park.
Okay, that's accepted.
Yeah, feel free to embellish that if you will. The second one is RFCA 2022-B. And it's a request from our facilities manager for the emergency repair of the main drain line from the bar in the amount of $8,200, and the vendor is Roto-Rooter. Eric, could you give some background on this?
So yeah, this was a main line that had to dig into the floor downstairs. And then part of the leak came from upwards up by the bar that came straight down. So they replaced all that pipe. And I think we discussed this last month because this bill hadn't come in yet, but knock on wood, hopefully we're free and clear moving forward. No pun.
There's very little left.
Yeah. So.
And we did mention last time that they had
Yeah,
the camera.
They did send a camera through all the pipes there until pretty comfortable both ways through the grill, through the bar area, all the way out. So they felt pretty confident they can get through. So
That's great. That's great. Okay.
Okay, that's my motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's accepted.
Last RFCA is the 2022-C, and it's a request from Richard, our facilities manager, for the replacement of the backflow device in our water supply on the Fountain Cafe machine. It's an amount of $3,977, and the vendor is Roto-Rooter. And that has a bit of a story behind it too. Health department requires we have a stainless steel backflow for water supply on the fountains of the existing machines, and it's non-leak. So it was it's a mandatory replacement.
I'll second that.
don't need to add anything. to that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay. That's accepted.
All right, as Eric alluded to earlier, we have been working diligently on the 2023 budget. It's coming together, I think, rather nicely. We postponed the vote, the voting of the of approval of the budget so we could get some late accurate information in terms of the insurance that we are looking at. There was also some other, of course, seed prices are kind of out there, but we're trying to get accurate information so we don't over budget. We don't want to charge what we're not going to spend. And traditionally, in some cases, we have budgeted more because we didn't know what was going to come our way. So we have our insurance premiums in, we have these other items have come in and they're matured, and we have actual quotations. So next Thursday, the 4th, I believe it is the 4th, Third, yeah, third. We will have a meeting at 9 o'clock, and the purpose of that meeting will be to review the entire budget process, department by department, and get voters vote on them from the committee's perspective, and then those will be passed on to the board for their approval. Okay, so that'll be next Thursday at 9 o'clock in the Sanjeev room. So if you would like to attend, please do so. It should be a good meeting. I also want to report that we have a new applicant. It'll be our 14th member of the Finance and Credit Committee. His name is Michael Anasimov, and he's new to the club. Nice guy. I spoke with him again today. He will be voted on in the November meeting. So that's all I have on the Finance Committee.
Okay, let's move on to the Golf Committee. Steve Ekstrom.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce Shelley Daly to give the golf report.
Here's the copy.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you.
Oh, I need these. Okay, Abraham Lincoln, who was a jack of all trades before finding his way into history, once said, in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. In 2011, Mission Lake celebrated a man whose life accounted for so much more than just his years here. And the club did it in a traditional, inclusive way. Paul Martin was summertime transplant from Alaska who had a place in Desert Hot Springs. In his first summer, he approached MLCC golf professional Robert Duncan, asking if there was anything he could do. Who was he? Paul, or some of us called him Paulie, had lived in Alaska. His job was working on the pipeline as a heavy equipment operator, but that really wasn't enough for him. He managed a hotel and restaurant for the workers on the pipeline, all at the same time he was operating heavy equipment. He was an accomplished pilot, flying people and government officials from island to island. Paul also owned a fishing boat and would take visitors and guests out for fishing halibut. When he finally retired full-time in the desert, he said, with irrepressible candor, bored. Approaching Robert here at the club, he asked if there was anything he could do to keep himself busy. Robert gave him a job picking up golf balls on the old range. The following year, Robert asked if he could run the cart barn full-time. The rest is history. Paul rebuilt golf carts for many of our residents. He was the guy you went to when you needed new batteries, new wiring, new brakes. He truly enjoyed helping members, but that wasn't all he did. He helped some of our widows move refrigerators, furniture, and other heavy items at no cost. However, he never turned down a tip of a good cigar or three. The more aromatic, the better. Paul had a habit of finding feral cats, catching them and taking them to the vet to get shots and spayed or neutered. Some of us remember a big, black, and very skittish dog running around the golf course. The dog wasn't particularly friendly and refused any contact with members. Until one day, somehow Paul made friends with this dog. Before long, we would see Paul and Shadow in a golf cart marshaling the course. Shadow's job was to chase coyotes and thereafter became an unofficial employee of the club. During the spring of 2011, alongside the 18th fairway, Paul was doing his normal rounds when he lost consciousness in the cart and later died at the hospital. At the next board meeting, a few folks asked to have a tournament in Paul's name. After thoughtful consideration, the board elected to have an annual tournament each November to honor the lives of all members and staff who died during the prior season. Thus, the memorial tournament was born 11 years ago in loving memory of Paul and all our other friends, neighbors, and employees whose years had come to an end. This year, this tournament will be held on November 12th. The tournament is open to all MLCC members who have an established handicap. The cost is $45, which includes lunch. And please sign up on Chelsea no later than November 10th. It's a fitting annual tribute to Paul's One for All and All for One Mission Lakes legacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. That was, Paul Martin was really one of those special guys that you will never forget. And I know a lot of people in this room really miss Mike. And that's a great explanation of the memorial tournament. It really is. I thank you.
And I want to thank Mari and her crew. They're going to put this out in the newsletter so that new members in particular and perhaps new board members don't know why we did this and why it was important to do it.
Oh, that's excellent. And could we have a Hall Daily to present an extension of our very successful walking program that we did over the summer? Not a lot of people do it, but I think it was good for our membership, good for the club, and certainly good and healthy for the few people who did it.
Thank you, Steve. Last spring, the board approved an experiment, which was a summer-long walking the golf course only if you're playing. After you register after you registered with the pro shop. The success, as Steve notes, even though there were only about a dozen members who did take advantage of it that I'm aware of, there were no complaints about them or by them. The continuation of the directives, because it's actually a prerogative of the board to make this decision, it doesn't require a change in any rule. It's a directive. That decision is in the board's hands, and at the time they made the approval last May, it was contingent on this experimental phase. So in that original proposition that they approved was a statement that said that any extension beyond this experimental phase might require their approval. Rather than worrying about might, I'm asking that it be continued with a few minor changes. To simplify matters, I had emailed them 3+ weeks ago a copy of the original that was marked up, as well as a copy of the new proposal, which is actually also accompanied by a marked up copy of the old one. Very little change. 3 key points. It continues the walking golf program unless and until the board directive is suspended or revoked by either the general manager or the board. It terminates the $50 per summer registration fee while continuing the very strict registration requirement that all participants register with the pro shop and receive approval for not only their use of the course as walkers, but also that they are using hand carts, that be approved as well. And it extends the golf pro and his staff the existing discretion, or I should say the summertime discretion they had regarding when and where walking golfers are allowed to play. So with that, I would ask your consideration.
Thank you, Paul. I'm very excited about this program. I really would like to thank Mr. Daly for the amazing job he did just making our job easy. In fact, not just easy, it's just, here it is, let's submit this into our rules and regulations, because he did all the lifting, he did all the hard work. And I think Mr. Goldstein and Mr. Karras would agree that this was absolutely seamless. I mean, it absolutely had no disruption, and it's healthy and good for our membership. And my goal in life is to go from a handicap flag to maybe 4 or 6 holes. I'm trying 60 pounds down. I'm trying. I'd like to make a motion that we accept this change and insert it into our rules and regulations.
I'd like to second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to know the timing. I don't have a copy of that in front of me. Is it continue from May to September? Is that the season?
amended version of the directive, which you approved in May, does not specify anymore that it has to be only during certain months, only certain times, only certain days. And the rationale for that is the experience we had was the Pro Shop is in utter total control of this project. And therefore it makes that decision as to when and where golfers may go on the course to play golf while either filling a cart or carrying a bag.
So there'd be some days of the week where the pro shop would not allow it. There'd be days, say like
Actually-
Thursday afternoons are often very, very empty, even in season.
I'd like to pose that as the reverse. You only are allowed to do this with the permission of the golf pro and or his designated staff in the pro shop. That's the way it was in the summer and that's the way it could continue.
Since we're in discussion, I'd like to support this idea. And I really like the fact that we put it in the pro shop's hands and that makes it kind of a no-brainer. It just sounds like it was a great success this summer, and I think it just, we're moving in the right direction for the membership with this opportunity.
David, do you have a comment?
I do, I'm David Goldstein, your director of golf, but this summer was great. There's a lot of times that they golf was in the afternoon. Afternoon, it's dead. They can do whatever they like. They did bring this to me at I don't know, about a month ago or so and said, hey, what do you think about, installing this during season? And my only issue was, okay, after you play your 9 holes on your front 9, because they played in an hour and a half walking. They were fine walking, so it wasn't a time issue. The thing that it would be was they're not allowed to walk 10, 11, 12. So then they would go from number 9 to number 13. Summertime didn't matter because there's nobody there. During season, there's going to be people that are going to be traveling there. So I would probably stipulate it to more of the afternoon and when it's available. As a trial and error basis, basically. I do 100% promote walking. It promotes the longevity of life, to be honest. And our front 9 is very flat. 13 through 18 is very flat. So if I can work it out where we can work together, where people can walk on this golf course and have a long longevity of life, let's do it. I don't see an issue with it. I think you still have to have a trail piece. You can't just bypass your trail piece and say, I'm just a walker, I don't want to pay a trail fee. No, you still have to get on the golf course. There is some sort of trail fee, but as far as walking, at least 9 holes, and in the afternoon, front 9, sure, why not? I'm 100% for it. So.
Bev Webb?
I would only like to suggest that you add the word golf to it as a golf walking or.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of leisure folks out there lately walking the course.
And that is how it's written in the state, the language that goes into the rules and regulations.
Oh, really? Okay, I just thought it would be like.
The, in like the case of Brandon, our little resident future elite golfer, right now he buzzes around in a very, very fast golf cart. As he walks his 9 holes at short distances in US kids, walking will become more and more important part of an elite junior golfer's deal. And, I foresee him practicing in the morning with his dad in the cart and then being able late in the afternoon to go out and get some walking time in. So,
Yeah, well, I think discussion's closed. Let's vote. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Huh? Carries. There we go.
thank you. You have a legacy.
He's got more than one legacy.
Yes, he does. Do we have, I think we pretty well covered the 50th golf tournament. It's from what I've seen, it's gonna fill. So if you haven't got your reservations for the November 5th tournament, I would do it today. I would do it on your phone right now during the meeting.
Well, the 50th and the memorial. Get
your reservation ready, but the golf is just about full.
They're both almost full, just to let everybody know, they're both almost full. So if you haven't signed up,
Awesome.
sign up.
All right. What do you got? Greens Committee, that would be Chester.
I was told to say it is the green.
There's no S.
The green.
I think we need to change that to greens.
More than one. You could have more than one. I know it's a little strange, but you know, I didn't want to go into that. Really don't have a lot to say today. The first thing I wanted to talk about was noise abatement at the main pump. There are some things going on. I think what was it, a week ago, a week or so ago, we all met at the main pump, the general manager, the head pro, the superintendent and myself, and actually went over some ideas. Since we've met, there's been more framing put up at the main pump. What is being done is the station is being enclosed on 3 sides. The steel, I think the steel work is done. Soundproofing materials will be added from top to bottom. So that's going on. We have to wait until we get different stages there. Once this is that's done, more soundproofing material will be put on the sides and the roof. I don't know exactly how long it's going to take. Raphael's been tied up with the oversee process, but I know they're continuing to do that. Hopefully by the end of November, we should have that enclosed, and that's probably a stretch. It just depends on his time. But noise was noticeably reduced with just the temporary things that we had up there. There was one issue with the high pitch sound from it's a turbine from the pump. And I think it's the turbine sound. Once we enclose the 3 sides, put the noise proofing material on the new, what we've done, we're hoping that that's going to solve that issue. If not, then the next stage will be to totally rebuild the pump station. Go ahead now.
So the 3 sides that are gonna be enclosed is not including clubhouse.
One of the sides,
Yeah.
no, I haven't said anything about which 3 sides. One of the sides is clubhouse.
It will be enclosed.
Yes. Down to a certain level. It's not gonna go all the way down to the ground, but from the top all the way down. The framing is up. Once the golf course opens, you'll be able to walk over and take a look at it. Let's see. Turf removal, the zero scape test area. The Desert Water Agency has approved our turf removal project. On October the 14th, we were informed that DWA will split the $3 rebate with Mission Springs Water District, each one contributing $1.50 per square foot. Once we got that information, we needed to put an application into Mission Springs Water District. They're sharing the credit for our project. Couple of issues, a couple items still need to be done on that application. Hopefully, we'll have that done by the end of next week. Once Mission Springs approved our project, we have 180 days to get it completed. Our project is 53,877 square feet. It's about $160,000. So we're pursuing that. Hopefully, once we get all the applications in and make sure that we're satisfying the requirements of both water districts, we need to get that done, and it needs to be done by April the 22nd, 2023. A joint Green Committee and Board of Directors meeting was held on Monday the 14th to discuss this project. It was taped, I believe it's available on Facebook. And rather than me go into what was talked about and what was seen, feel free to go in there and take a look at that. The whole presentation and everything is there. The course oversee, Eric kind of talked about that. What you see out on the golf course today is basically 3 weeks of growth. The course, they started seeding the course on the 6th. I think they finished on the 8th. And what you see is 3 weeks growth. We still have the week to go. Raphael seems to think the course will be, does think the course will be ready to go for the tournament on the 5th. There might be, if he determines that there needs to be some sort of park restriction or whatever, whether it's in the rough, 90 degree, whatever it is, he'll let us know. That's up to the superintendent. And the other thing is the Bermuda grass test area behind number 16. And I gotta admit, it doesn't look as good today as it did when we looked at it just after they cut it. But
We looked at it when it was lush green and it will come back. It's been cut. So now that has to grow. Both grasses are doing fairly well. We walked on them. They were pretty spongy. There are a lot of weeds there. I'm not sure everybody's idea of what a test is the same. In a lab kind of experiment, it's controlled. We didn't do a lot of controlling out there. But the grass is growing and the whole idea is to see how it handles the cold weather when the temperatures change. So we need to look at it over the period of a year from the time we put it down to see if the grasses that we think will handle the cold weather will do that. We've also been in contact with UC Riverside's turf research department. The doctor in charge of that program was one of the people that developed one of the grasses out there. We've been asking them questions on different grasses that could, Bermuda grasses, withstand the heat and tolerate the cold. In his opinion, he thinks the idea of overseeding golf courses stays or no. Any questions?
What would that say again?
They're developing Bermuda grasses that are year-round varieties of Bermuda grass.
I actually did have one question. One of the things that a lot of people are complaining about, and I know you deal with it on a daily basis when you go to play golf. At the end of Oakmont, where that drainage area is there a plan of attack that we're looking at for that? I get asked that question constantly.
Has been probably for, I don't know, I've been on the green committee 4 years, and I think we've been talking about it. I actually brought it up when I actually live on Oakmont. And when you go down through there after a rain or somebody opens up a pool or whatever, you go through 1.5 feet of water down on Oakmont. What's happened, and we brought this up, and then I'll get back to your original question. There's a drain there, but it doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it's just a drain. And there's a nice concrete lip, which is probably 1 foot or 1.5 feet below the golf course. So the water has to build up a certain height before he has anywhere to go. We brought that up, looked into the idea of what would it take to fix that. The same problem exists over on Spyglass by 16, same issue.
Right.
If you go look at it,
Yep.
the ground is about 1.5 feet higher than where the water is supposed to drain to. So until we get a nice 2-foot rainstorm, there's no way it can make it to Boyer's Lake. So one of the solutions was to put a pipe in there. There supposedly is a pipe in one of them that's crushed or blocked or whatever. That solution is a pipe with clean outs. If we do that, to me, it just seems like we can bring a blade in there and a grater and cut a channel into it and let the grass grow to at least so the water won't accumulate.
Yeah, or a culvert, an open culvert that that the water can just pass.
I think the one bid that we got, and this was a couple of years ago, was somewhere around $30,000. I don't know where that is today. That's one of the things that we'll talk about on Thursday to figure out what we can do.
So Chester, on that drain that doesn't go anywhere, it's probably what we consider a dry well, what's called a dry well, which we use in commercial applications. And so it's just a huge dugout area with river rock or whatever, and that could certainly be enhanced in a larger area to take care of a lot more runoff if that's what you decide.
Yeah, I'm not even sure, David, once it builds up, it's running anywhere. I just think it just gets so high and sits there, which is, a mosquito issue.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, so it's something that, we definitely, we brought that up before, but like most of the things that we brought up, there's a nice list. And sometimes things on the list get moved down when something that's more pressing and more important comes up. But that's definitely something that needs to be done because it just won't go away.
I suspect Vector Control will rearrange our priorities on.
Probably.
That would be most likely with the new
And
mosquitoes.
I think that's probably what it is because the mosquitoes have been especially bad this year. Can't even see it.
And they're supposed to continue on.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get rid of them.
And do we have any more questions? That is my report.
Thank you.
Hey, Chester, thank you very much for pulling that all together. You hit on the key points that are critical to our club. The comments are they were succinct, but they're thought provoking. So if any of you have further questions, feel free to talk to Chester or anyone else on the Green Committee or myself when I'm there, and we'll provide answers if we have them, or get answers from your questions. So anyway, thanks, Chester. You're a tribute to the Green Committee for a very job well done. Thank you.
All right, next we have the House Committee, and
I think we're lucky enough to have Wendy here today.
there we go. And Dr. Wendy Scott.
I don't know why. I don't know why that says doctor. It is not a fallacy, but it is not something that we typically celebrate around here. There are plenty of doctors in the building. And we just don't acknowledge that. But thank you for the acknowledgement, whoever decided to do that. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't do boo-boos. One thing I would like to clarify, that Sue brought up about, it wasn't really a task force that I would like to recommend, but I think that there are multiple times that things that the House Committee, that the Pool and Rec Committee, and that Member Relations Committee, and probably others as well, are working on, and we feel like we may be stepping on someone's toes, trying to get stuff done that people recommend or suggest. And so Mari and I were discussing the chair people getting together and having a meeting possibly once a month, and just with the and discussing things that have been brought to us that we would like to get done. And that was kind of, so it's not really a task force where we would want other people to get on another committee or something. But another thought behind that was that it's difficult for some people to attend all of the committees. So if the chair people would get together, say once a month, and talk about what their committee is doing, they would be more informed and could take it back to their committee as well, besides just the liaisons. It was just a thought that we brought up that we thought might work out. Things that the House Committee has been working on lately. We are working on trying to do some things around the clubhouse itself that are in dire need of addressing. One of them is the floor, and Richard is waiting on 3 contract bids on estimates for the lobby, carpet in the downstairs lobby, the sandwich flooring, which I think may be already done.
That's done.
That's done, okay. The exercise area flooring is needing to be done next year. And some of these repairs are needed to the floor because of loose pieces, and those are more hazardous. And those will be done in prioritized by hazard. Another thing that we are looking at is wallpaper removal and painting in the lakes room here and in other areas of the clubhouse, but we wanted to start in here. And Richard is in the process of getting bids. Our first bid, only bid as far as I know, I can't remember his last name, so I just put Richard. Pardon me? Pimentel.
Yeah.
Okay. So he got one bid for the lakes room alone for removing the wallpaper and then repairing walls once the wallpaper is ripped down. And repainting was $8,645. And that was lower than, we were given an estimate by a member here. He cannot do the work because he is a member, but his company came in and measured everything out
and gave us an idea of how much it would likely cost, and his estimate was around 9,000 to do this room. The 50th history, we continue to work on that. The San Gregorio room is going to be set up as a museum, which I found out on the 35th anniversary that it was also a museum. So it'll be the same thing, just to repeat. Photos will have been submitted, and we have memorabilia together. We have some posters and things like that that you can walk through. Anita and some of her friends that have been here since the beginning are going to be docents in the museum and walking you through and telling you stories and things of what the club was like back 50 years ago. And I would love that history of Mr. Martin to put into the 50th anniversary book. That would be a good story. And when you were talking about the dog, I kept thinking about Blackie, but that's not Blackie. It was
Shadow.
And was that the dog that Blackie ran off with?
Actually, the core story, the tail ending of that story is when Paul died, his granddaughter took Shadow. And Shadow apparently was a one-person dog. The dog ate their couch, their chairs, their drapes, their carpet, etc. Nobody would take Shadow after that, so they had to put Shadow down.
Oh, don't put that in the story. You can come up with a better one than you said.
Steve, not in a minute.
Not in the minutes.
It's right that.
Right, yeah.
Blackie is in the book.
Yeah.
And it was in the book from the 35th anniversaries book. But I think in the end, it says that Blackie ran off with another dog.
That's another dog, Shadow.
But I don't know what that dog was. We don't have a story on the other dog.
Yeah, the only reason I know this is Robert Duncan is the one who was very close to Paul Martin. And very, very close, and went fishing with him and all kinds of stuff. And allowed Shadow to be an unofficial employee of the club.
Another
Marshall empty, yeah. No benefits, but.
Another item that we were talking about, we had a presenter come out to the House Committee from Ollie, which some of you may know about, but it's called the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. It is a program that is run through Cal State San Bernardino. Angela Allen came out and did a presentation and talked to us about what Ollie is. Ollie is a program for people who are 50 years of age or older, and it's continuing education types things. And they actually have two components. They have a continuing education program where you can take enrichment classes. There's no test. So there's no pressure, no books, but it is done by professors at the Cal State San Bernardino. But they also have a traveling component. So they will do things, they have excursions that they do, and they have an excursion in their flyer. They talk about an excursion that they're going to go see the Italian blind guy.
Oh, Andrea.
Yeah, Andre Bocelli will be performing in December in Long Beach, and there's a group going there. You can participate in that. There is a fee for participation. They're going to Vegas is for something, another event. They're going to New York, which will be more than but they have traveling events that you can participate in as well. So what they would like to do here is they would like to have a program here at NLCC where you can come here and take the classes instead of going down to the campus on Cook Street. They will give us a sample lesson so that we can see whether that's something that we might be interested in. And one of the lessons that was discussed was the history of the Coachella Valley and Desert Hot Springs. So it would be a one-time free lesson that they would give. And the only reason that that discussion came up on that specific class was because Desert Hot Springs is currently celebrating their 59th anniversary. So they're only 9 years older than we are. So that was one that we discussed that maybe people here might be interested in. The classes would be held at the clubhouse, and so we wanted to have that included to see whether or not this is something that we could go forward with the board of allowing Ollie to come in and do a there is, if you decide you want to participate, they will only do a class if they have, was it 6 or 9? Six students per class. And 6 students, and there's a fee. There's like a $30 entrance fee. And then the classes are,
I think the classes were 30 and there was a membership fee of $75 for all their components.
okay,
Yeah, for all their classes and everything else.
and it's a one-time,
Yes.
fee.
Yeah.
A very popular program at Leisure World Seal Beach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I have aunts that are involved in it in the Carolinas. I can't remember if it's north or south. It's all over the country. There are places that have these programs for senior citizens or people over 50.
Wendy,
Yes,
the newsletter will have a link to the Ollie
Okay.
program so that those members that may want to pursue more about it, there'll be a link on that. I
Okay.
have that here.
there is a catalog with all of their classes listed in it for the current season, which those classes will change every season. So there's a good variety of things that you can participate in if you're interested. So it's up to the board whether or not you guys would want to bring that program here to Mission Lakes. If you are interested and we don't have a program here at Mission Lakes, you could still participate. You can still join as a member, and your classes would be held out on Cook Street at UC or Denver, Santa Barbara.
Wendy,
Yes.
when I read through the stuff that you sent out a few weeks ago, there would really be no obligation on our part, right? We're just accepting that they can come here and do the class.
Use our room,
And
that's
they
it.
would choose whether or not they got enough participation, whether they
Right.
would continue.
Right. Yes, there's nothing on our end except for providing the room for them.
So I don't see any reason why we wouldn't allow it to happen. I think it'd be great for our membership.
I think the only thing that we would have to consider would be days of the week that they would be allowed to offer the classes. And a bit of flexibility among whether or not it's a large class, would we need the lakes room? And if it's a smaller class, possibly just having it in the Sanji room. Otherwise, I don't see any issues with it either.
Can you see, Eric, staff moving around prepping the room is gonna be,
No, I think it'd be very easy. It's just, you're right, depending on what days. I think a lot of them were Mondays and Tuesdays, if I wasn't mistaken, some of the classes. They go from 1 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't remember the days of the week.
there's plenty of studies that show that senior citizens doing more learning, continuing education keeps the brain more solid than simply social media or attending board meetings.
Right. We don't want any Alzheimer's and dementia.
Well, I would make a motion to allow the Alley program to come to Mission Lakes.
I would second that.
Anybody have any discussion on that?
That's great.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nay? No. I think we,
Mr. Charles,
We're
can
good
you
with
take
that.
care of contacting Ann?
I will.
Thank you. Our HVAC system is another issue that is being addressed. We have bids out for 4 HVAC systems. And that is also in next year's budget. The doors for the clubhouse front door, the sand wedge, the golf shop, and the lower lobby are all items that are in the reserves that need to be looked at because the doors are not, the locking mechanisms are not working correctly. So we need to address those issues. Another issue that came up was fly abatement. There have been complaints that people are having too many flies in the dining room and the bar area while they are trying to be happy.
The flies are the people.
Well, both are trying to be happy, but the
Okay.
people would rather not have the flies.
Alright.
They can have their own congregating area out there. And Mr. Charles is looking into that as well. Things that members would like to see come back are karaoke, line dancing, and other fun activities. And those were some of the things that people were bringing up to the House Committee that we thought we might be. That's more pool and rec, and we don't want to step on anybody's toes, so. Yeah. So there's your pool and rec, there you go. Okay, upcoming discussions are going to be furniture replacement and in the inn and replacement of bedding, which is already begun.
Okay. All right, next we have member communications with Sam Lancaster.
Mari, would you like to say something or you just want me to go ahead?
Well, you do such a great job, Sam.
Well, hardly, but thank you. That's one thing I want to mention is we're trying to work with the other committees to get things going and to have a good repertoire, if you will. As far as the newsletter is concerned, we've discussed how the committee should submit to the Members Communication Committee what they've talked about in their meetings and try to limit it to 250 words or less. I think that's probably a good idea. No offense, but some people can get a little long in the tooth. And I think if we cut it down a little bit, we'll have a much nicer newsletter and it'll keep our community informed. We also discussed having a contest naming the newsletter, and that I think we're going to go forward with. Eric has been very kind to offer a dinner perhaps or two, and we'll be starting that shortly. As far as our member communications committee is concerned, kudos to Mari. She has done an unbelievable job so far. Well, everybody on the committee has done a great job, and I don't know what else to say. I'm so thankful to have these people working for us. It's great for our community. The feedback that we're getting from members on the newsletter is fantastic, and we just need to keep it up. So if all the committees could be active and give us a synopsis of what you've talked about, that would be fantastic. The other thing, the website. Eric, would you like to pontificate a little bit about what's going on with that?
So I guess back in March, the prior GM was working on a new website, more user friendly. Anyways, so back in, I think it was September, we sort of found the stuff he was working on. So we are working to, we're getting back on track with Jonas to update our website. So right now, I think we're just transferring a lot of the information over to the new website and playing with it a little bit through David or our controller David's office, but hopefully moving forward, that was the whole plan, is to make it more user friendly. So we're getting closer to having a workable new website.
Great, fantastic. The last thing that I'd like to do is our last meeting, we had a pretty good turnout, actually, and there's a few new people that showed up. One in particular, Sandra Rodriguez. Sandra's a new member here. She's been here for about 9 months. And her background, she has a bachelor and a master's in interpersonal communication, rhetoric, and public address. One thing that we have heard from feedback on our newsletter is we should kind of proofread a little bit more, have a little bit more, the grammar should be correct. This is a person that would be willing to do that for us, and she has the background to do it. And I'd like to nominate her to our committee, Members Communications, Sandra Rodriguez. And it's up to a vote.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
She's
Thank
welcome.
She here?
Yes.
One more thing, if I may, on behalf of the Member Communications Committee. This coming weekend, we're having our big extravaganzas and all of the festivities. What one of our or a couple of our members came up with is putting up name tags for us when we come in, to fill in our name tags and put the number of years that we've been at the club. And we ask our senior members, our longtime members especially, to watch for those new members that are coming in, make them feel a little bit more welcome. It's kind of like that little handshake of the old meeting the new. So if you could keep that in mind on Friday, especially at the Wine and Cheese, that would be really very much welcome.
Thank you, Mari. I was going to bring that up. The name tags are a great idea, and it should be a lot of fun. This coming weekend is going to be great. It's just going to be fantastic, and the older members like myself and the Dailies that remember some of the old times, which we've gone through. It's to make everybody feel welcome, and that's really it for my spiel. So thank you.
Sam,
Yes, sir.
with Sandra Rodriguez, is that an alternate member or a voting member?
Alt.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, next we have, well, I don't think we have neighborhood watch, but we have cops.
Yeah, Larry.
Mr. Carrigo.
A long-winded guy.
Today,
3 minutes.
I've got a board meeting today, that accidentally run into one of David's guys out in the parking lot. I was coming to see David, and he told me he was in the board meeting. I forgot all about it. So anyway, this will be brief. Anyway, we had our last meeting last month, and I don't have any minutes or anything to present, so this will be very short. Anyway, we're having a problem with rodents in our patrol car. Last month, we had our patrol car in the Ford garage because it ate up the wires and sensors, and so it's gone for a couple of weeks, but one of our members on our team, Tom Nero, who lives down here on Augusta, had the same problem in his car. And he come up with this spray. It's an expensive spray, but he was spraying the wheel wells and things like that, and he kind of got away with it in his cars. So anyway, even when we took it to the Ford garage, they didn't even clean up the stuff that was in there when they fixed the wires. It was really a mess. So when I go back to them, I'm gonna let them know that they could at least cleaned it up somewhat. Anyway, today, Tom comes to spray the vehicle. And so he pops open the hood, and what's he seeing there? 2 big nests and 4 eyes in there. Two big fluffy rats in there. And they're looking at him and looking at him. And so he happened to have the spray and he sprayed them and they took off. But anyway, we decided that we're gonna not park the patrol car there. We're gonna park it down here in the lot. You can get away from it for a little bit and hopefully. And he's gonna spray it more inside too. But I don't know if it's coming, if they're coming from the trash bin or what's going on, but and they didn't run when he opened that hood, so they're not afraid. So we don't know if they're getting ready to have babies, but they have that nice warm engine in there to sit on, but I think it's something that we've got to keep an eye out for our whole community, really.
See, Larry,
Yeah.
fabric softener, those sheets that you put in your dryer.
Yeah,
I'm a farmer. We deal with this like in lots and lots of problems. And so that's one of the things we've come up with. Stick them in the places you think they're going. So you can take that and use it at home too.
all right, thanks. That's a good tip. Yeah,
Plus your engine smells good.
Yeah, it smells good.
anyway, so she trolling has been pretty quiet. We had a few garage doors open, but mainly for the last 30 days have been fairly quiet as far as we know anyway. We've had a couple more members that have went into medical leave, so we are thinning down, but we have two new members, Jack and Karen Peterson. I don't know if they're here or not, but anyway, when they're got their credentials now, so they're ready to start patrolling when they come back. So but we lose two, we pick up two, but we're not gaining much. So anyway.
But you're not losing.
No, we got plenty of room. About 4 years ago, we started a citizens on patrol throughout the valley, Coachella Valley, and all the Palm Springs, Palm Desert, like Indio and all of us, we formed a committee, Citizens on Patrol Committee, and we're actually having another. We haven't had one for like 2 years now because of COVID, but we're having one on the 15th, and we have the Sheriff Bianca doing one of our speakers, and we have it's like a 9 to 3 presentation meeting, and it's very good for all of our citizens on patrol. And if somebody else would like to go, they can contact me. I have to turn in a number, probably like around the 10th or 15th, before the 15th. So it's very enlightening. Anyway, pretty much all I got right now. Anyway, our next meeting is gonna be on Tuesday, November 8th at 1:30, so you're all welcome. Thank you.
Next, I have Eddie Baxter with the pool and rec report.
Welcome back, Ed.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, you all hear me, I guess. I don't have a lot, too much anyway. My first topic's on the craft fair. And right now we have 22 confirmed reservations. So we've got the applications and the money, most importantly, the money in. So that's a good thing. So if any member out here paints, sculpts, does jewelry, whatever, and you want to show at this fair, you better get your application in, because we're only going to accept another half a dozen or so. Not more, because we can't hold more than 30 at the very most, so a couple more. And space is limited. Applications can be picked up in the office, and you can contact Holly King. You will have her number and email on the board minutes, so that will be there. Of particular interest is a member here by the name of Sonia Reed contacted us, and she met with the Pool and Rec Committee last month about a theme for making spirits bright. This has to do with the Marine Corps base at 29 Palms and gifts for the holidays. there's about 500 families up there, and that's just including the enlisted women. 45% of these enlisted personnel up there would qualify for financial aid. So the need for some bright spot at the holiday is very important for the children and the families as well. Two members of the Pool and Rec Committee, Margaret Johnson and Karen Pike, have volunteered to kind of bring this forward and provide more information. We still have a lot of time and they're coordinating that. Once we have anything, we'll be able to get an e-blast to the members about how you might participate. We're looking to support 60 families. 60, that's a little more than 10% of those really in need of this. And there's a lot of ways to do it. It's been suggested for gas cards, food vouchers, baby items, and particularly children's gifts that are wrapped. And we can do some kind of a coordination effort where we have a gift station up here that members can bring their things up to. So it's a very noble cause. More information will be coming out to everyone in an e-blast. Our holiday cart parade, which is an annual event that Dan Follette has agreed to do again. He's really good at this. We do one for the 4th of July. We do one at Christmas. Right now, we're kind of looking at a date that will work because we're very busy in December. So it's kind of on a weekend in the afternoon that we can maybe provide some refreshments as well. So selecting that, we're working on those dates right now with Eric. Also, our home decorating contest, which was kind of a big hit last couple of years. We've seen an increase in those members that are decorating their homes, kind of cool. And we'll hit Eric up for first, second, third prizes, perhaps again, as we've done in the past. Of course, he doesn't know that yet, but that's coming up. We'll have more information on that after our November meeting. And for Eric again, yoga on Wednesday morning. We had done some tryouts with 2 yoga classes on Wednesdays and Fridays. They were a big success, except we don't have enough budget money to continue both those classes through the rest of the year. So we picked Wednesday. We're going to continue with that. Ellen's going to teach that class, and her husband, Billy, will provide the live music, which is really cool because it's another twist on things that's better than just regular spa music. He does it live. Also, she has 2 classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They are a stretch class for our elderly citizens that maybe can't stand up and can sit in a chair and still do the exercise work. It's been a big hit. A lot of them been outside, but we're bringing both those classes indoors because it's cooler out there now, and it will be better received downstairs. Also, Billy's going to be participating in those classes as well. Lastly, I'd just like to ask, because Pool and Rec Committee has asked me, and I think they've sent a couple of emails out regarding the use of the tennis courts for this upcoming party next Saturday night. We've heard from the tennis and pickleball group about how is this going to affect the courts? Are we going to require people to wear, softer sole shoes like the ones I have on now? Because I haven't seen anything about that. And I think if we're going to protect those courts, we should send something out pretty quickly. So it's really kind of a question to you guys. Is there some thought given to that?
We were talking over the years. Yeah, so over the years, I mean, down at Sunrise, we've done some parties out on our tennis court kind of thing, and we've let heels come out there. We really haven't seen major damages. We are gonna send something out that's gonna say soft, at least flat bottom shoes more than anything else, but we did tell the Pool and Rec as we came out of our meetings that basically if we do have any damage down there, we'll get those fixed right away. So, but long story short, it would be safer if we went with soft heel shoes. So.
Just to piggyback with, and Steve, the rule says tennis shoes only in there, so it would have to be something that.
No tap shoes.
No,
Yeah,
well,
please
no,
don't tap.
yes, it's tennis shoes. No.
Spike heels is very
Middle spike.
techniques.
No cleats,
No stilettos.
no football cleats or baseball cleats.
Thanks, I was a volunteer for 3 years at Navy Marine Corps relief, and our enlisted it's awful. But
It's awful.
what about Toys for Tots? Are we gonna incorporate that as well?
I don't know.
Wait,
We
yeah, but the lady also said something about doing it with the fire department and police department here at DHS.
the voice spot that they do.
I
And
just
do
hope
the
we have
right-
something.
Yeah,
So that's
should
what
be saying that now.
And please, let's coordinate it so that when we get the information, we can
Get it out.
make it as part of a whole, mission ways
Yes,
campaign. I know in this newsletter, we have 3 for Thanksgiving, we have 2 for food, and then 1 for pet, or 1 or 2 for humans and 1 for pets. And if we're going to do something like that, I'd like to be able to get it all together so that we can promote it all at once.
Yeah.
Have different boxes for the different groups or dates or whatever it is.
I agree.
But I'm coordinating them.
But also, we have to remember that not everybody uses the internet, and it would be nice to have something in the bill or signs or something, because not everybody looks at email or internet.
That's very true. A lot of our members don't. And I just like the, one last comment is something that Wendy brought up, and I agree, there's a lot that Wendy's committee and my committee do that kind of interchange with one another, and I think over the years, we've been really good about kind of staying out of each other's way. We haven't had any problems, but we communicate pretty good about that and try to stay in our own lanes. It might not be a bad idea, as Wendy has said, for us, chairpersons to get together. I know 3 or 4 years ago, we tried that and nobody showed up for the meeting, so it kind of didn't work out as well as we'd like. But anyway, that's kind of it. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Larry.
I'd like to make a suggestion that the board, the committee look at renting a portable dance floor. And then you can rent them things to put out there and not have to worry about the our courts and stuff. I don't think it would cost that much.
We have looked into it.
Any other comments in the back? In the very, very back?
Sorry, in the very back.
I couldn't see you.
I heard a lot of great suggestions tonight, but since our first meeting we've attended, so thank you for that.
Welcome.
I have just started trying out the yoga classes and, thank you for support of keeping the 1 class. I feel like it's really important for our health and good for the community. So when we go into the next budget cycle, if there's any way to budget money for the 2 classes, I think people would take advantage of it. I just want to make sure it's on the exercise calendar, so I don't see it on the website. Thank you.
Okay, do you have a report then for the 50th, or have we already gone over most of
I
it?
think we have. Does
Yeah.
anybody have any questions? Maybe I shouldn't. Does anybody, I think we've gone over everything.
Yeah, I think we have. Okay, old business. Do we have any old business, Eric? No. We have, I don't see anything listed, so. Nothing that we need to go over there, so let's go new business.
Can I say one thing on old business? Last meeting, we asked for anybody that was interested in sitting on that strategic planning committee. We have some response to that, but we still have spots available. So if somebody feels like they have something to bring to that committee, that would be great to get your application in.
Okay.
Did you get Ken Grant's application?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Eric.
So, yeah, so we have the new green fee structure, and I'll just go over that. We're still working on the budget part of this, but I just to lead David into the new season going forward. We have a member guest rate down from $85 to $79 per member guest. Outside public play, green fee will be $110. We will have a family membership, and that's immediate family. We're working on how many times, but right now we have a maximum of 6 times per year, $69. And then we're gonna have a twilight rate this year. After 1 o'clock, it's 50 for a member guest, 69 for public play. And then 9-hole rate of 50 and 60 for public play, 50 for the member guests. And then we'll have a special rate, the Friday night scramble at 2:30 p.m. A guest of a member will pay $25 for that. The template cards will go, for the member guests will be $711 for 10 rounds. And the outside public green fee will be, $990 for the year. So, and then we'll have a summer rate coming up, but for the most part, that'll be the rates when we open up.
Sounds good.
All right.
And then as far as we already went over the substation down below. What's currently going on with that. And the radar signs.
So the radar signs, I can tell you, I've been talked to by a few different people about radar signs. I do have some pricing. I will probably take it to the finance committee, but it seems like a lot of this community wants more of the signs going up that electronically tell you how fast you're going. We've tried for months to try to find a battery for the one here off of the main road here. Anyway, we think we found one. So, but we are looking at different signs to put around the community and maybe mobile enough to where we can move them around. So we will have some prices on that.
Can you say anything about people next door? They're the ones that speed most of them.
Yeah. Can't we lock their doors so they can't come in? Lock them out of our area.
Chain the gate.
So I have gone to the county and I've talked to a good gentleman down with the traffic department and basically tells me, because I always say, hey, is there any way to get to CHP more often kind of thing? He says, all we can do is recommend. So they can't really force them to come up here, but the recommendations have been out there and I've asked a few times. So he says, I'll send another recommendation for you. So.
Sue.
Eric, have you looked into non-radar? I know I've talked to people, and those of us who walk on Spyglass, which is not the Mountain View people. If there could just be signs that had 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, I know that would be helpful on that street.
I agree with that too. We don't have that many signs out
No,
there.
there's
So,
nothing on
yeah.
that street at all.
So just the 25 miles, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, it seems like since they put the linear, all the lines down the middle, people think it's more of a thoroughfare. So they're driving about 35.
Well, I walk,
Other than that,
I walk Spyglass and there's 50-mile-an-hour traffic. We should really consider putting a stop. Nobody wants a stop sign, but we probably should have one halfway down.
We need stop sign, we just need mile per hour.
they don't stop anyway.
We don't think it's-
Signage, I think would be,
Stuff like putting in speed bumps, stop signs, all that stuff has to go through the county commission.
Yeah.
And when we've had them out before, the answer has been, yeah, no, not even under consideration.
Yeah.
More stop signs and stuff, they're not gonna do more stop signs. They just
Speed
want,
limit sign, that's it.
speed limit signs, I think that has to go through them as well.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. But I think we can purchase some and put them up. I don't think there'll be any issue with that. And I'll discuss it with the county. I don't think he's gonna care. He's gonna let us do that.
The
so.
lady before was like, started giving us, they have to be 6 foot back from the road, so they don't look like they're.
Yeah, they do. Well, they do have rules on what they need to be, but yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Okay, there's,
Peggy wants to say something. Oh, Peggy, sorry about that.
A quick question on the family and me, tea time, $69. You said 6 times a year, is that one, like you pick a son or a daughter, or is it, you can have just 6 family members can come?
Well, right now, it's still a discussion on that, how about what the max is gonna be, but right now it's six times total. It's 6 times total right now. No, it's just gonna be, you come to the pro shop will keep track of how many family or immediate family people you bring in.
Is there grandchildren?
Immediate.
As long as it's an immediate family, absolutely. Yeah, son, daughter, yeah. And if I could ask the board, we did this, was there any other?
No.
Oh, if I could ask the board, on Tuesday, in the board agenda meeting, we did discuss this, it just didn't make the agenda if you could vote. This is the 2022-2023 election timeline that was put together. Basically, for the upcoming year, we adopt an election schedule, that's what we're doing today. And then we're gonna appoint an inspector of elections. Again, and that was scheduled for today's meeting, but if we could have a vote to add it to the agenda.
It's all we need is, there's no objection from any board member to deal with to put this on the schedule today, the agenda today.
I think we need to make a motion for a vote. And then
Yeah, and we also need to ask the members if there is any kind of an objection. Can I see a show of hands of all the members that are in agreement with being able to discuss this in an open session? Okay, we have more than 2/3, so we're fine. Okay, so we can go ahead and add this to the agenda and discuss it in open session.
So do you want me to read off the proposed calendar?
Not necessarily, if the handout's back there. in the
Oh,
back.
okay.
Yeah. If basically today, the schedule, basically, the main dates is 12/14, the letter goes out, that's the first 30-day notice for general notice of self-nomination. That goes out there, and that's we'll send it, I'm sorry.
Self-nomination.
That's right, yeah, self-nomination.
Self-nomination.
integration.
And then there's a deadline of 1/13/23. We just basically, we're approving these dates.
Can we make a motion? just to-
And the number one concern that I raised was that our annual meeting will not be on the same day as the playoffs for the member guest tournament.
On either one,
Men's or women's.
men's or women's.
It's a week apart. So.
Perfect. Does anybody that has seen this have an objection to the dates?
Following the law.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well, I make a motion that we vote to approve what's written in the timeline on that,
Second.
unless somebody wants to.
okay, I think we've had discussion, so all in favor of the schedule for the time of the election?
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay,
Now, should we also appoint an inspector?
That's your president's responsibility.
yeah,
Is that just good? So, yeah, that's okay.
I nominate Shelley Daly as our inspector.
Trish,
I do remember at the assembly meeting, we did mention that candidates forum, which I think Eric was looking for a date sometime in February. That was not on this list, so that probably would be helpful for our candidates for that. Candidates forum.
You can't be in this schedule. This is a legal schedule related to what the state law requires.
Yeah, actually, I agree with that. So I mean, I'm gonna look at what you guys did in the past. I did it a little different at Sunrise, and I'll look at what you guys did here for your form, but yeah, we'll have that before it goes out for the vote, so everybody has that.
And that wouldn't affect what we just voted on
No,
as far as the legalities.
It's up to
yeah,
the inspector of elections to work with y'all.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right, and I don't believe we had any other issues that we have on here.
Yeah, it turns out there was no lien delinquent list.
No lien delinquent list, okay. All right, so I gotta pick a number, huh? Let's see. I wonder how many members we had. Let's do 24.
It never.
And it's Wendy's gone.
Oh. Oh, you have to be present to win?
Yes, you did.
Oh, my goodness, okay. Let's do 16.
Okay.
Boy, this is for the house. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. I did. James. No. Second. I already. Jim. Yeah. Do you room? Okay. Not for long. It's just they need to. Yeah.
Are we voting it to adjourn?
We're gonna shut you out. and turn it back on.
Aye.
Aye.
We're gonna.
My animal.
I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, it's an outside party coming here. Remember. Eight members. Eight members. Great. Yeah. That's not the kids in here. No. This is booked last year. These people do a Halloween party every year, but it was booked last year. If I gave you the name, you would probably know the name. All right.